I never thought a single buzz from my phone could shatter a lifetime of loyalty. But there it was. You're dead to me, Everly. Don't come crawling back. Enjoy the gutter. From the man who'd raised me, or so I thought, my father, Harlan Voss, the kingpin of Wall Street wolves. I stared at the screen until the words blurred with tears I refused to let fall, my thumb hovering over reply. But instead of begging, I typed 4 words that would burn his empire to ash. See you at the vault. That text wasn't just disownment, it was erasure. After everything, after I took the fall for his sins, rotted in a cell while he toasted champagne flutes with senators, I was the ghost he couldn't exorcise. And ghosts, darling, they don't haunt, they possess. What he didn't know, what no one knew, was that I'd clawed my way back from hell with a secret sharper than any knife, a body that wasn't mine anymore. Swapped in the shadows of a black market lab, courtesy of the very tech his firm had buried under patents and payoffs. I was Everly Voss no longer, not in flesh. I was her sleek, untouchable, the perfect Trojan horse. And I was coming home. The rain hammered Manhattan like it had a personal grudge, turning the streets into rivers of regret as I slipped through the revolving doors of Voss Financial Tower. My heels, Louboutins, size 7, buttersoft leather, clicked against the veined marble with the precision of a loaded chamber. I wasn't Everly anymore. Not the scrawny kid from the suburbs who'd idolized her old man. The one who'd inked a plea deal at 19 to shield him from the feds. No, I was Victoria Hale now, his prized executive assistant, the Ice Queen brunette who'd risen through the ranks on whispers and winks. Or, at least, that's who the mirrors lied to these days. It started 6 months ago, in the underbelly of Jersey, where the labs hide like rats in the walls. Harlan's company, Voss Dynamics, the shadow arm of his banking empire, had been tinkering with neural transference tech. Officially, it was for therapeutic paralysis reversal. Unofficially, a playground for the elite to cheat death. Swap souls like outfits for a gala. I'd found the leak during my parole-mandated job hunt, a disgruntled tech who'd seen too much, owed too little. For 50 grand scraped from odd jobs and a promise of silence, he wired me in. The swap was agony, a white-hot scream ripping through synapses, my consciousness yanked from my tattooed, prison-hardened shell and slammed into Vicky's porcelain one. I woke up gasping in her penthouse, staring at manicured nails and a reflection that sneered back like a stranger's dare. But it fit. Vicky was Harlan's right hand, privy to the vaults, the codes, the skeletons he kept in offshore accounts. And, oh, the betrayal? It festered deeper than the ink on my old skin. 10 years back, when the IRS came sniffing at Voss Financial's books, it was me, 18, wide-eyed, interning for summer cash, who'd signed the falsified ledgers. For the family, Everly, he'd cooed, his hand heavy on my shoulder. You're my blood. This stays buried. Buried it did, under my 5-year bid in Rikers, while he skated on technicalities, expanded his empire, and remarried a trophy half his age. Vicky. Irony? Or fate's cruel punchline? I smoothed my pencil skirt, Vicky's favorite navy, hugging curves I'd never earned, and flashed my badge at security. Marcus, the night guard with the lazy eye, nodded like always. Evening. MS. Hale. Mr. Voss still burning the midnight oil. Always, I purred, channeling her clipped Park Avenue lilt. God. The voice alone made my stomach twist. It was silk over gravel, the kind that closed deals and broke wills. Elevator to the 47th floor. Penthouse access only. The car hummed upward, a silver bullet to the heart of his world, and I let the memories flood in unbidden. Prison showers cold as regret, the shank scars on my ribs from a fight over a smuggled letter he never answered. Daddy's girl, the inmates mocked, until I learned to swing first.
Ding.
Doors parted to the executive suite, all glass walls and minimalist chrome, overlooking the Hudson like a conqueror's throne. Harlan's office glowed at the end of the hall.
Door Ayar.
The old bastard silhouetted against the city lights. He was on the phone, voice a gravelly bark that once made me feel safe. Now, it was the sound of chains. Divert the Cayman transfers by dawn, or we're both swimming with the fishes. You hear me? He paused, chuckling that wet, triumphant laugh. Good man. Family first. Always.
Family.
The word landed like acid. I knocked once.
Soft.
And pushed in. He didn't look up at first, scribbling on a legal pad, his silver hair catching the desk lamp like a halo he didn't deserve. 68. Still broad as a linebacker. Face creased from deals dirtier than dive bar floors. When his eyes finally lifted, those steel grays that mirrored mine, or used to, I saw the flicker. Recognition?
No.
Just the appraising scan he gave every subordinate, like livestock at auction.
Vicky.
Late night. Emergencies don't punch clocks. Harlan. I set a stack of fabricated reports on his desk, diversions I'd planted earlier, breadcrumbs to his fraud trail. His gaze lingered on my neckline a beat too long, the way it always did with her. With me now. Revulsion coiled in my gut, but I leaned in, letting the blouse gap just so. Power plays. Baby. That's how you win in this town. He grunted approval, signing off the phone. What's the fire? Compliance flagged the Zurich wire. Again. Lie. Smooth as bourbon. But I handled it. Quietly. His smile was a shark's grin. All teeth and no warmth. That's why you're indispensable.
Vic.
Knew you'd come around after that little hesitation last quarter. Hesitation. Code for when Vicky, real Vicky, trapped in my old body, probably rotting in some halfway house under a false name, had pushed back on his latest skim. I'd fed her the swap intel. Anonymous tip from a burner. She took the deal. Her life for mine. A fresh start away from his groping hands. Poetic? Really? Now she was Everly Voss, ex-con scraping by in Queens, while I wore her skin like armor. We bantered, shop talk laced with his leers, until the clock ticked past 11. Go home. Get some rest, he said, waving me off. Big day tomorrow. Boards flying in from D.C. I paused at the door, turning with Vicky's coy tilt. Harlan. About that text you got earlier. From your daughter? His face hardened, the pen snapping in his fist. Ink bled across the pad like a wound. Ex-daughter. What about her? Just curious. She reply yet?
A beat.
Then, cold as a vault lock, hoping she chokes on it. I smiled. Vicky's red lips curving like a blade.
Oh.
She will. One way or another. The elevator descent felt like free fall, heart pounding against ribs that weren't mine. Phase 1, infiltrate.
Check. Now.
The real fun, the dig. The unravel. Back in Vicky's, no. My penthouse on the Upper East Side. I poured a scotch neat. The burn-steadying nerves jangled by the swap's phantom itches. My old body had been wiry, scarred. This one was yoga-toned, flawless. But it itched with foreign memories. Flashes of Vicky's life, boardroom conquests, Harlan's late-night meetings that left bruises under silk. She'd hated him.
Deep down. Good.
That hate was mine now. Laptop open. VPN routed through Tor. I cracked his personal server. Backdoor left by the tech who'd swapped us. A parting gift. Files spilled. Ledgers bloated with ghost money. Shell companies nested like Russian dolls. The secret Harlan buried? Not just fraud. Murder. 20 years ago, my mother, his first wife, hadn't run off with a lover. She'd discovered his Ponzi's cradle. Threatened to whistleblow. He staged it as abandonment. But the autopsy he'd suppressed? Poison in her wine. I'd taken the fall for the financials to protect him. Blind to the blood on his hands.
But Mom?
She'd died screaming his name. Tears, Vicky's tears, hot and unfamiliar, tracked down my cheeks. Family first, he'd said. Bullshit. I wiped them. Fingers steady on the keys. Siphoning data to a dead-drop drive. By dawn, I'd have enough to torch him. IRS.
Sick.
Hell. Even the NYPD cold case unit. But that was the clean kill. I wanted him to feel it, the slow bleed, the betrayal from within. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Enjoying the view. Everly? Or should I say, Vicky. Ice in my veins. Harlan? No, too crude. The tech?
Sloppy.
I typed back. Who is this? Someone who knows swaps aren't child's play. Careful.
Ghost.
Daddy's got eyes everywhere. Threat? Or ally? I smashed the burner. Heart racing. Paranoia was the air in this city. Thick as smog.
But it fueled me.
Morning came gray and unforgiving. Coffee bitter on a tongue that tasted champagne dreams. Dressed in Vicky's power armor, tailored blazer, pearls like nooses, I strode back to the tower. Harlan was in conference, barking at suits from D.C., his empire's puppeteers. I slipped into his private vault room. Biometrics bypassed with a clone print. The air hummed with climate control. Walls lined with safety deposit boxes like crypts. One box, labeled Legacy. Inside, not bonds or deeds, but a USB drive and a faded photo, me, toddler-sized, on Mom's lap. Harlan looming possessive. Taped to the back, a paternity report.
Sealed.
Curiosity clawed. But time ticked. I pocketed the drive, planting my trackers instead, microbeacons on the wiring, silent alarms for his next dirty move. Back at my desk, the board meeting droned via intercom. Harlan's voice. Oily charm. Gentlemen. Voss Financial isn't just solvent. We're invincible. With a new neural division, Neural. The swap tech. My tech now. He was pitching it to the Fed's cronies, laundering black budget billions. The betrayal deepened. A chasm. I'd been his canary in the coal mine, sacrificed for this Frankenstein dream. Enough. I fired off an anonymous tip to a DOJ contact, Vicky's Rolodex Gold, and leaned back, exhaling slow.
But the twist?
It came at lunch, in a whisper from Harlan's favorite board member. Senator Hale, no relation. Thank God. Over Cobb salads in the executive dining room. He murmured, Harlan's tying up loose ends. That ex-con daughter of his? Word is, she's stirring shit. Watch your back.
Vicky.
He doesn't forgive blood.
Blood.
The word echoed. I smiled through the forkful of avocado. Mind racing. Loose ends.
Me.
But I wasn't the loose end anymore. I was the noose. Afternoon blurred in emails and evasions.
But by 5.
The first domino fell, a Cayman alert on my screen. Funds rerouted. Harlan's panic move. I shadowed it. Fingers flying. Diverting to a ghost account I'd nested deep. 10 million. Pocket change to him.
But the hook in his jaw.
Evening found me in a dive bar in Hell's Kitchen, nursing a gin and tonic that tasted like regret. The tech, real name Elias, twitchy ex-PhD, slid into the booth, eyes darting like a ferret's. You got my cut? After the swap holds, I slid an envelope, 20 large, clean bills. Who tipped you? The text. He shrugged. Sweaty. Harlan's PI. He's onto something. Thinks Vicky's acting off little things. Like how you scar your knuckles when you clench.
Shit.
My old habit. Bleeding through. Fix it.
Can't.
Reversals fry the brain. You're stuck. Sweetheart.
Stuck.
The word landed heavy. But stuck meant permanent. Vicky's life. Her grudges. Now mine. And Harlan? He was next. Night deepened. City lights smearing like accusations. Back in the penthouse. I decrypted the USB. Not just Mom's murder, emails. Timestamps. His orders to the hitman. Make it look like she left. And below. The paternity seal cracked open. 99.9% match. Harlan Voss wasn't my father. The man in the photo. The shadow? Mom's lover. The one Harlan had framed as the runaway. The real dad. Vanished after the abandonment. Harlan had stolen me. Raised me as his pawn. To bury the truth. Rage. Pure and volcanic. Surged. Not blood? Then the betrayal cut bone deep. I was no daughter to disown. I was a stolen heir. A weapon forged in his lies. Reply time. From Vicky's phone. Harlan. Meet me at the vault. Midnight. We need to talk about Everly. His response. Question mark. Trust me. It's personal. The clock ticked to 12. I waited in the shadows of the vault room. Pulse a war drum. Footsteps echoed, heavy, hesitant.
Door creaked open.
Harlan's silhouette filling the frame. Pistol glinting in his grip. Vicky? What the hell? I stepped into the light. Vicky's face twisted in my snarl. Hello, father. Miss me? His eyes bulged. Gun wavering. Everly?
What? How?
Science. You bastard. The kind you peddle to devils. I lunged, disarming him with a prison yard twist, Vicky's body lithe. But my instincts feral. He crumpled, wheezing, as I zip-tied his wrists to a deposit drawer. You stole my life.
Twice.
Mom's. Then mine. Time to pay up. He spat. Face purple. You're nothing. A junkie con. Swapped into trash. Trash. I laughed. Cold. I'm you now. Your empire? Draining like a sieve. I tapped the console. Screens flickering to life. Accounts hemorrhaging. Feds warrants pinging incoming. And the truth? It's out. Mom didn't run. You killed her. And me? Not your spawn. But you raised me to take your falls anyway. Shock cracked his mask.
The test.
I burned it. How? Ghosts dig deep. I leaned close, breath mingling. One last wire. Sign it.
Harlan.
Empty the legacy fund to my Cayman drop. Or I pull a trigger on that server nuke. Trembling, he complied, fingers stabbing keys. 50 million.
Gone.
His empire's heart ripped out. But as the transfer chimed complete, his laugh bubbled, manic, broken.
Fool.
You think this ends me? It's a shell. The real fortune. It's in the neural patents. Your swap? My design. I knew. Tracked you from the lab. Liar? Or twist? My gut twisted. Bullshit. Check the drive. Timestamped. I let you in, Everly, to test the tech. Live bait for the board. The USB. Replayed. His email to Elias. Greenlighting the swap. Use the girl. Make it real. Betrayals abyss yawned. He'd played me again. Rage blinded. I raised the gun, his gun, to his temple. Controversial? Hell yes. Daughter or not, killer's blood cried for justice. Finger tightened. But the shot didn't come. Not yet. Harlan's eyes, those damn mirrors, held mine pleading, calculating. A father's ghost in a monster's shell. Kill me, and you're him. The cycle spins.
Kid.
Walk away with the cash. Be free.
Free.
The word mocked, echoing off the vault steel. Free from what? The body that itched like a bad tattoo? The city that chewed loyalties like gum? I lowered the gun, barrel kissing his knee instead. Crack. Bones splintered. His scream a symphony I'd replay in nightmares. Controversial decisions. Yeah. Mercy with teeth. Free? I hissed, holstering the piece in Vicky's garter, her kinky secret. Now my edge. You don't get to preach. You framed Mom's lover, stole his kid, built your throne on our bones. And me? I ate the bars for your greed. 5 years of bleach and bars. Harlan. For nothing. He gasped, sweat beading on his brow, clutching the ruin of his leg. It was for us. The Empire, yours too, if you'd played smart. Not this. Freak show. Smart? Like poisoning her? I waved the drive. It's data syncing to cloud servers I'd rigged, DOJ. Media drops. Even that sleazy Times reporter who'd sniffed the swap rumors. It's live. Your world's ending. Live streamed. Sirens wailed distant.
Closing in.
My tip had worked too well, feds swarming like ants on honey. But Harlan's grin twisted anew. Pain-fueled mania. Ending?
Nah.
Watch. He nodded to the console. A hidden tab blinking. Contingency. I flicked it against better judgment and files unfurled. Not just patents, contingencies. Deadman switches on his rival's accounts. Viruses primed to tank the market if he fell. And buried deeper, my swap logs. Timestamps proving consent, forged. But ironclad. You signed up, Everly. Desperate junkie.
Post-parole.
My gift.
Lies.
Elias had sworn it clean. But doubt slithered.
Cold.
Had the haze of those first free weeks. Pills to numb the ink, blurred lines?
No.
I'd been sober.
Scheming.
Still, the seed planted, controversy blooming. Was I victim or volunteer? Savior or sinner? I backhanded him. Vicky's ring splitting his lip, copper tang sharp in the sterile air. Gift? Like the disowned text, cutting the cord on your lab rat. He coughed blood, chuckling wet. Had to motivate you. Push the beta test. Now look, you're in the game. Board'll pay billions for a working transference. You're the proof.
Proof.
The word ignited something feral. I was no exhibit, I was the storm. Grabbing his tie, Hermes. Blood-flecked, I yanked him close. Game over. I'm emptying it all. Not just the vault, the soul you sold. Fingers danced on keys. Overrides cascading. Legacy fund?
Drained.
Neural division slush? Redirected to charities in mom's name, women's shelters. Cold case funds. Controversial? Pouring a killer's blood money into good? Hell. It felt like karma's middle finger. But the real gut punch, his personal slush. The family nest egg he'd hidden from even Vicky.
A ti mil.
Funneled to a trust for.
Me?
The forged papers said Everly Voss. Heir apparent. Stolen child. Now ironic inheritance. Tears pricked, mine or hers, as the transfers locked. Sirens swelled. Boots thundering floors below. Time's up. I cut his ties loose. Gun in his palm. Prince wiped clean. Tell them it was suicide. Despair over the leaks. Or don't.
But.
Harlan. He lunged. Wild, leg dragging. Hands clawing. We grappled. Bodies slick with sweat. His bulk against my borrowed grace. A drawer handle caught my hip. Bruise blooming. But I twisted free. Knee to his gut. He wheezed. Collapsing. You're me. Everly. Darkness wins. Maybe. I straighten my blouse. Pearls clicking like judgments. But I'll wear it better. Door slammed behind me. Vault ceiling with a pneumatic hiss. Elevator plunge. Heart hammering. Lobby chaos. Suits scattering. Badges flashing. I melted into the crowd. Vicky Hale. Unflappable exec. Hailing a cab in the rain. Upper East. Driver.
Fast.
The penthouse loomed. A glass cage of opulence. I stripped Vicky's clothes like shedding skin. Scars from my old fights absent, replaced by faint surgical lines from the swap. Neck. Wrists. Hidden under sleeves. Shower scalding. Steam fogging the truth.
Who was I now?
Everly in exile. Or Vicky reborn. The mirror fogged clearer. Eyes mine. Fierce. Jaw hers. Sharp. Hybrid monster. Stitched from hate. Phone buzzed Elias. Feds at the lab. Harlan spilling.
Get out.
Too late? Or timed perfect. I packed light. Drive.
Cash.
A single photo, moms. Swiped from his desk. Black hoodie. Jeans that hung loose on Vicky's frame, too slim for my street edge. Uber to Penn Station. Midnight train to nowhere. Philly? Chicago? Decisions controversial. Run. Or double down. The club car rattled. Gin from the bar cart burning steady. Sleepless. I decrypted the air trust docs. Not just money, clauses. Control of Voss dynamics upon his incapacity. Incapacity like a bullet to the knee? Or deeper, the patents named E. Voss as co-inventor me. Credited posthumous, via the forgery. He'd planned this, Frame my suicide post-swap. Inherit through me. Test the tech on unwilling marks. I was the prototype pawn. Disowned to radicalize. Dawn broke over rail yards. Jersey sprawl giving way to Philly's grit. I ditched the phone. Bought a burner from a corner bodega, scratchy beard disguising Vicky's cheekbones. First call, the Times reporter. Off the record, Harlan Voss didn't kill himself. But he wished he had. Leaked docs followed. Anonymized. By noon, headlines screamed, Wall Street Titans fraud empire crumbles. Daughter's ghost haunts the fall. Controversial spin. Hero or homewrecker.
Forum liop vos vengeance trending.
Debates raging on if I'd earned the cash or damned my soul. But the twist nod. Elias's last text. Before I ghosted him. Check the blood work. Swaps unstable. Memories bleeding. Bleeding. Vicky's flashes intensified, not just boardrooms. But Harlan's bed, his hands possessive. Her silent screams. I'd inherited her trauma. Layered on mine. Dark. Tense, America's underbelly. Where power swaps souls like stocks. Philly's Undercity welcomed me. A flop in Fishtown. Cash under the mattress. Days blurred in dives and diners. Monitoring the fallout. Harlan indicted. Board scattering like roaches. Vicky, my old body, surfaced in a tabloid blur. Ex-con claims identity theft. Voss heir in hiding. She'd played her part. Feeding the narrative. But her eyes in the grainy shot? Haunted. We were tethered. Two ends of a frayed cord. Nights. The itch worsened. Phantom pains from prison brawls on limbs unscarred. I dosed with bootleg neural stabilizers. Black market from the same veins that birthed the swap. Controversial cure. Pills that blurred the line further. Vicky's laugh bubbling in my throat unbidden. Then, the poll. A week in. Burner rang. Senator Hale. MS. Hale, or should I say Voss? We need to talk. The board's offering a deal.
Deal.
The word slithered. Temptation's tongue. Meet at a neutral, Rittenhouse Square.
Dawn fog.
I went armed. Vicky's derringer tucked in my waistband.
Heart a tripwire.
He waited on a bench. Overcoat flapping like broken wings, 60. Jowly. Eyes sharp as lobbyist lies. Impressive work. Harlan's done. Suicide watch in Bellevue. But the patents. They're gold. Co-sign with us. Everly. Billions. Legitimize the tech. Legitimize murder? I spat. Perched opposite. Rain beating on my hood. He leaned in. Breath scotch sour. Progress demands sacrifice. Your mother's? Collateral. Like your stint inside. Sacrifice. The audacity ignited. You knew. All of you. Family businesses. Darling. Messy. His smile was oil. But you're in now.
Air.
Take the reins. Temptation coiled. Power. The kind Harlan wielded like a god. Controversial. Become the villain. Or burn it all. I stood. Fog swallowing us. Tell the board no deal. But send my regards to hell. Flight not run. Reclaim. Back to NYC. Shadows my allies. The tower loomed. A gutted carcass under siege tape. Security bypassed with Vicky's lingering codes. Up to the vault. Harlan's knee?
He'd live.
Propped in a cell. But the legacy box? I cracked it anew. Photo crumbling in my fist. Mom's eyes, mine, stared back. Inside. A final secret of vial. Neural serum. Unlabeled. Reversal? Or poison? Elias's warning echoed. I palmed it. Pulse thundering. Midnight again. Bellevue's underbelly. Bribed orderly Mayan. The Harlan in restraints.
Got.
Eyes hollow. You, he rasped. Spotting me, Vicky's face. But my snarl unmistakable. Miss me? Pop. Sarcasm dripped. American as apple pie a la mode. He strained, chains rattling. Finish it. Or join me. I uncapped the vial. Serum glinting. Truth serum? Or the swap's kill switch? Lies. But his flinch sold it. Twist time. Harlan. The paternity?
Fake.
Mom's lover was you. Affair cover blown. So you erased him.
Me?
Your real blood. Stolen to spite her. His laugh cracked. Despair's dirge. Liar. I am your father. DNA begs differ. Forgery's my game now. I tilted the vial. Drop hovering. Drink. And confess. Or I walk. Empire ash. Gulping. He complied. Serum or placebo. His words spilled. Mom's pleas. The poisons pour. My signing coerced with threats. For the family, family's dead. I press send, final dump. His empire's kill shot. Sirens wailed anew. Guards inbound. As they dragged him. Howling. I slipped free. Vial empty in my pocket. Reversal? Maybe. But for now, the body was mine, tool of revenge. Tense with borrowed sins.
Outside.
Dawn cracked gray. Cash heavy. Secrets heavier. Happy ending? Or by tragic farce? Readers decide. Ghost or goddess? The cab from Bellevue reeked of stale coffee and regret. Manhattan's arteries pulsing with oblivious life as I headed east, toward the lab's ruins in Red Hook, where it all ignited. Harlan's confession tape, smuggled out on a micro-SD. Voice warbling like a dying broadcast, burned in my pocket. Proof. Pure as snow in July. But proof for what? Justice in America was a slot machine, rigged for the House. I toppled the king, but the court jesters, senators, bored vultures circled, hungry for the corpse. Vicky's body ached. A deep bone weary that wasn't mine. The swaps bleed. Elias called it synapses fraying, personalities seeping like ink in water. Last night, I dreamed in her voice, Harlan's hands on silk sheets, her whispers turning to screams. Woke gasping, fists clenched, knuckles unscarred. But the pain real. Controversial therapy. I popped another stabilizer, chased with diner coffee black as my mood. It dulled the edges.
Sharpened the plan.
Red hooks where houses squatted like forgotten gods. Graffiti their prayers. The lab, Voss Dynamics black site. Now a taped-off husk post raid, loomed chain-link fenced. Feds vans idling like watchdogs. I parked the rental 2 blocks out. Hoodie up. Creeping the perimeter.
Elioshes bolt hole. A storm drisien great.
Rusted key tucked in ivy. Down I went. Concrete scraping knees too smooth for such dives. Into the underdrain maze. Philly grit meeting Brooklyn damp. He was there. Hunched over a jury-rigged terminal. Screens flickering ghost light on his sallow face. Took you long enough. Voss. Elias. I emerged dripping. Derringer drawn. Talk. The serum, what was it? He eyed the gun. Unflinching, addicts calm. Or fatalists, reversal prototype. Unstable. 80% fry rate. You drink. Maybe you swap back. Maybe you flatline.
80.
Odds worse than Riker's roulette. I holstered, leaning against slime's slick wall. Harlan knew. Set me up. Everyone's a mark in this town. He tapped keys, pulling my logs, neural maps pulsing like heartbeats.
See?
Bleeds accelerating. Vicky's core, trauma loops overriding yours. Soon, you'll forget Everly. Forget. The fear clawed.
There komt uam.
Fix it.
Can't.
But I can stabilize. For a price. His grin was rodent sharp. The patents. You're cut now.
Air.
We go public. Legitimize. Swap for the masses. Cheat death. Baby. Legitimize. The senator's echo. Controversial fork. Peddle the devil's tech. Or bury it. Billions could fund a life, new face. New name. Islands where extradition slept. Or torch it. Let the world heal without Harlan's curse. Show me the code. I slid beside him. Screens bathing us in blue. Lines scrolled. Transference algorithms. Elegant as sin. Mom's face flashed unbidden. Poison lips. Harlan's shadow.
No.
This tech birthed my revenge. But birth monsters too. Upload the kill code. Wipe it global. His hand froze. That's billions. Everly. Your birthright. Birthright's blood money. Finger on the Derringer's grip. Do it. Grumbling. He complied, virus propagating. Patents crumbling to digital dust. Voss dynamics. Gutted. A laugh escaped. Vicky's trill laced with my growl. Free
Or fool.
surface air hit sweet. Sirens fading. But the burner buzzed. Vicky. My old number. Her voice tentative. Everly,
It's. Me.
we need to meet.
Meet.
The tether pulled. Controversial. Ally or enemy. We synced at a neutral Gowanus canal.
Twilight Mork.
Factories hulking like judges. She arrived cautious. My old body a shock. Wiry frame in thrift store jeans. Tattoos faded under jail ink. Eyes mine. Wary in a face hardened by streets. You look good, she said. Voice gravel where mine was silk. Liar. I smirked. Vicky's poise masking the itch. How's Queens? Shitty. But free. She lit a smoke. Offering one. Habit shared. Now alien. The swap. It saved me. From him. Him. Harlan's ghost between us. You knew the risks. She exhaled slow. Smoke veiling regret. Knew enough. Thought you'd kill him. Almost. Confession tape passed hand to hand. Her fingers brushing mine. Old calluses on soft skin. He's broken. But the board. Slimy fucks. Her laugh barked. Mine once. Senator called me too. Proxy air.
Bull.
We talked then raw. Rain-slick confessions. Her abuses at Harlan's hands. My prison hell. Betrayals mirrored. Secrets unearthed. She'd been his mole once.
Feeding IRS tips.
Until he turned. His blind pawn. Sisters in skin. Swapped fates. But the bleed, I admitted. Voice cracking. I'm losing me. Her eyes softened. My eyes. Then reverse it. Together. Together. The word warmed, tense with trust's fragility. Back to Elias's hole, vial in hand. He prepped the rig, tubes, monitors beeping like doomsayers. One shot each. Sink or die. Controversial climax. Gamble souls. Or drift apart. We stripped to basics, vulnerable. Bodies bared like truths. Needles bit. Serum flooding veins, fire than ice. Consciousness yanking. Darkness swallowed. Flashes. Mom's wineglass tipping. Harlan's whisper. Vicky screams. My shank fights. Identities tangled. A knot of rage. Light cracked. I gasped awake. In my skin, scars bloomed familiar on ribs. Tattoos curling like old friends. Across the table, Vicky blinked in hers. Porcelain cracking with relief. It worked, she breathed. But the twist, the real gut-wrencher, hit as monitors flatlined. Elias slumped, derringer in his temple, suicide note scrawled, Harlan's last order. Clean the witnesses. He'd played us both. The serum?
Doomed. Bleed permanent?
Souls hybrid forever. Everly Vicky. Vicky Everly.
No reversal.
Just evolution. We fled laughing, maniacal.
Free.
NYC's lights blurred as we hit the turnpike. Cash split. Horizons wide. Harlan's empire ash. Our scars shared. But in quiet moments, the doubt, had we won? Or become him? Swappers of fates. Controversial queens of a dark game? Interstate blacktop unspooled like a vein under moonlight. The rental's engine a low growl matching the hybrid hum in my skull. Vicky, back in her sleek shell, but with my street swagger bleeding through, drove, knuckles white on the wheel. Her once manicured nails chipped from the great crawl.
Erode shotgun.
Old body reclaimed, but forever altered. Everly's scars itched with Vicky's poise. A tattoo of tension etched in every flex. We ditched the lab's corpse, Elias. Poor bastard. Waited and sunk in the canal. His note our alibi's ghost. Controversial burial. Mercy kill or cleanup. In America's undercurrents. Lines blurred like identities. Chicago, she asked. Voice a weave of our tones, gravel silk. Or further. Cali? Rewrite the script. I fiddled with the radio. Static spitting news. Voss scandal deepens. Air duo's vanishing act sparks conspiracy theories. Swap sisters trended.
Forum Zablaz, savior or sociopathe?
The debate we'd craved. Now a mirror cracking under scrutiny. She glanced over. Eyes hers. Mine sharp. The money? Split it clean. Charities first, Mom's fund. Prison reform.
Rest?
Seeds for something real.
Real.
The word anchored. Weight lifting slight. We'd emptied Harlan's vaults, not for greed, but Genesis, a life unyoked from his chains. Dawn found us in a roadside motel, off I-80. Ohio's flatlands stretching indifferent. Shared room. One bed, practical. Not intimate, boundaries born of shared skin. Sleep evaded. Bleats echoes whispering, her gala gowns on my frame. My shank grip in her palm. We talked till light leaked, secrets unburied. Like Harlan's Cayman codes. Now ours to dismantle. He wasn't always monster, she admitted. Curled on polyester sheets. Early days. Charm like varnish. Swept me from Vassar. Promises of power couples. Power. I snorted. Pacing bare feet on threadbare carpet. His drug. Mom saw through, tried to run with her lover.
Me.
Vicky nodded. Hair tousled, blonde roots showing. Her maintenance skipped. He confessed once.
Drunk on Dom.
Everly's the best lie I ever told. Thought it metaphor.
Now.
Now it's us. The twist reversed. Not stolen child, but forged family. Harlan's paternity fake. Yes, but the bleed made us kin. Souls swapped in vengeance's forge. Controversial bond. Victims allied, or villains conjoined. Morning brought decisions dark. Tense forks.
Bonaram, Senator Hale.
Voice oily as ever. Ladies. Impressive exit.
But the patent spit survived.
We can rebuild. Your terms.
Ours.
Temptation siren. Billions beckoning. Vicky's eyes met mine. Query silent. Power or peace? I snatched the phone. Terms? Burn it all. Or join Elias.
Click.
Line dead. Her laugh bubbled, ours. Ballsy. Learned from the best. Harlan's ghost grinned in memory, but faded. We pushed west. Motels blurring to a rhythm, code cracking his remnants. Leaks timed like heartbeats. By Nebraska, the empire was dust, subsidiaries folding. Cronies indicted. Harlan, from his cell, penned a letter smuggled via bent guard. Daughters, blood or not. You broke me. Proud.
Proud.
The word curdled. Tossed in a diner trash bin with eggshells. Utah's reds bled into Nevada's neon. Vegas a temptation we skirted, too garish for ghosts. Instead, a cabin off Route 50. Loneliest road, where signals died and souls breathed. There, the bleed peaked, nights of merged dreams. Mom's poison mingling with Vicky's bruises. Harlan's laugh our shared demon. One storm-lashed eve, thunder cracking like gunshots. We faced it. Serum remnants, Elias's stash. Pilfered, vial trembling in my palm. Final shot. Stabilize or sever.
Sever.
The risk. Lose the hybrid strength. Revert pure, but fragile. Unscarred by the other's fire. Vicky, her hand steady on mine, chose.
Together.
Or not at all. We dosed. Lightning flashing faces. Everly's snarl. Vicky's steel. Agony arched. Then release, synapses settling. Not split.
But fused.
Woke entwined. Not lovers. But legion. Everly Victoria. One breath. Dawn golden. We burned the vials. Ashes scattering to sagebrush wind. Cash dwindled. But purpose bloomed. A neural nonprofit. Ethical swaps for the paralyzed. Funded shadow. Controversial launch. Black market roots. But branches to light. Months spun California coast. A modest bungalow in Big Sur. Waves crashing judgment. We wrote the book. Ghosted. Swapped vengeance. A daughter's reckoning. Bestseller. Debates raging. Redemption or revenge porn. Talk shows beckoned. But we ghosted. Voices masked. Truths veiled. Harlan died in custody. Heart attack. Official. Karma's whisper.
Ours.
His obit splashed. Titan falls. Legacy in ruins. We toasted with cheap Merlot. To Mom. To the lover he'd erased. Our real root.
Perhaps.
Ending?
Nota idibaw.
Happy. Empires toppled. Sisters forged in fire. Lives reclaimed.
Bitragits, souls scarred eternal.
Bleed a low hum. America's dark heart our scar. Readers argue in comments.
Forum à flamme, héros horribristiques?
Deserved or damned.
Me?
I stand on cliffs. Wind whipping hybrid hair. Vicky's laugh in my throat. We emptied what he never expected his hold.
And damn.
It feels like flying.